KY, I laugh, I think back a year ago. You get up in front of everybody, you said BYU is going to be a pipeline to the NBA. We're going to be on the national landscape. We're going to win a lot of games. People were kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
And here we are. You've answered in everything that you said you deliver. Looking back, how does it feel to be right where you are now?
It's been a wild, 18 months or whatever it might be, but I think it kind of points to just our BYU in general. I think you see it with our football program.
Yeah.
Once we've joined the Big 12, I think it really catapulted kind of what drew me here. And then obviously leaning on my NBA experience that you mentioned. It's rewarding in a sense of being able to try to tell a story and have people really receive it, right, with particularly on the recruiting trail. And then once we get guys in the building, being able to have them buy into the way we want to play, the way we want to develop, the way we want to build. It's rewarding, and it just makes you want to keep going. And now that we got this new group in here, it's exciting to get them kind of biting on that same stuff.
Coach, you're moving at warp speed. I mean, Coach Mark Pope had measured success there. Feels like you're taking that thing and sprinting with it. What are some of the ideals that you've instilled in this program to get you guys moving at such a fast speed in the right direction?
Yeah. I think one of our big things is just player development. I know a lot of my
NBA vibe.
Yeah, I mean my NBA background gets a lot of attention, but our head strength coach was in the NBA for 8 years. Our head of mental performance has been in the NBA for almost 20 years. Right now he's a full-time BYU guy. I brought our analytics guy from the Suns, our nutritionist from the Suns. I could keep going. I have 3 coaches on my staff that were G League coaches. I can keep going down the list, and so I think it definitely differentiates us. I think from other programs. I think players sense that. And so everything we do is founded upon player development, helping guys get better, and then style of play. I think that's something that is a separator for us. I think we space the floor really well. We try to anyway. We like to play an up-tempo style, similar to the way we were doing things when I was in the NBA.
Coach, it's hard not to talk about the NBA when we talk to you because of the ideals, because of the development, because of the talent. But also because of your contract now, too, man. I think they looked at like, this is a guy that could very well get taken to the NBA. What did it mean for BYU to say, yeah, we've got years on his contract, but we want him fortified for a long time to come?
It meant a lot, It meant a lot, not just to me, but to my family as well. We really like living in Provo. We love the atmosphere at BYU. It's everything that we're about as a family. My kids love it. And so it's just the excitement around, like I said, BYU athletics in general. It's a great time to be there. It's a great time to be in Utah.
We talked to AJ, and this is well documented, but I just sat down with him moments ago. And I said, your decision to go to BYU shocked a lot of people, but you said it was because of 2 words, Kevin Young. What is that relationship between you two that made it simple for him? I'm going to go come play for the Cougars.
Yeah. I mean, it's extremely meaningful, right? Like, that's the thing that when I decided to leave the NBA to go to college, I felt like for me it wasn't about like the glitz and glamour, the NBA, this and that. It was about I'm leaving relationships with Hall of Fame level guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like NBA All-Stars who are like colleagues and friends and people that I get to build relationships with and help have them try to be the best version of themselves. And so now to get a caliber of someone like AJ to come in and for him to make that comment, for me, it makes those 2 worlds kind of merge now, where it's like, okay, I can still do everything I want to do at BYU, and the reasons I chose to come to BYU was mainly because of my family and because of the family atmosphere and so forth. And now I can do it with great players like AJ, not to mention some of the other guys that we have too. That's pretty cool.
I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't stick with AJ a little bit more here. You've coached elite NBA talent. You're going to be coaching an elite future NBA talent in AJ. When you watch him on the floor, of the myriad of things in the skill set, what stands out to you most?
I mean, what I learned in the league, I'll never forget when I first got there. I couldn't believe just how big everybody was, right? You got 6'9", 6'10" guys handling the ball like you're 6'1". And so obviously he has that. He has the size. He has the athleticism, but then he has the skill set that matches it, which is a significant part of the equation. But what really separates him, I think, is his mindset, his mentality, his maturity. That's where I've been blown away. Like, he's extremely mature, especially with these guys got tons of fanfare around him. You really wouldn't know it in talking to him. You definitely wouldn't know it if you're trying to coach him. And that, for me, like, I sense the respect that he has for my background, like, and I haven't had to tell him this yet. I told his dad this one time. I was like, I've had to yell at Kevin Durant to get back on defense. You don't think I'm going to yell at AJ Dybantsa to get back on defense? You know what I mean? And so, like, there's this mutual respect that I think we have, but that just really makes me like coaching him even more.
It's funny, when I asked him what part of his game he enjoys most, you're getting to him, Coach. He said, people think I can't guard. I'm going to show them how I can guard this year. So that defensive thing is coming through. I want to talk about acclimation for a star like that. Some coaches feel like, okay, I got to tweak a little bit of what I do because of immense talent coming in like this. It's a little bit more unique for you guys because you have a lot of talent surrounding him as well. But are there tweaks to your coaching approach do you feel like you have to kind of insert because of this massive talent coming in?
Well, I think that's something I've strived to do as a coach my whole life. Whether it was, a lot of my background was I was a coach in the minor leagues and the G League, so you're getting new players constantly. And yeah, you have ideals that you want to implement as a coach, but it may not fit if your roster is constantly changing, which I had to learn that in that league. Then you get to the NBA. 1 year, and my job in the league was always, to put together offensive schemes. So 1 year I got Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, JJ Redick. Then I go to Phoenix and it's Chris Paul and Book and DeAndre Ayton. Then we get Kevin Durant. So, like, what worked with Ben and Joe may not work with Kevin and Book, right? So what worked last year with Yegor Dima, who's now with the Brooklyn Nets, may not work with AJ. Some of it might. Yeah. So I think having the flexibility, I think the way that we build our system, if you will, we have a framework of how we want to play, but there's different buttons we can push within that. So as an example, I mean, he's a guy that, he reminds me of when we played Kawhi in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Ty Lue did a great job of getting mismatches for Kawhi to go to work. Okay, now we're dipping into some of that for AJ, right? Mm-hmm. So there's different things we can do. So yeah, I try to be mindful of it while not rocking the boat altogether, but that's one of the fun parts for me, right, is to be able to figure out what buttons to push and when is it too much and when is it not enough.
Richie went from glue guy to one of the best players in college basketball. He's now partnered with a guy in AJ who's one of the most talented players at any level of basketball. Mm-hmm. You've drawn comparisons to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, which don't seem crazy to anybody. What do you see in terms of similarities between the two duos?
Yeah. I mean, Richie, it's actually good because Richie can do so much of his damage without the ball, mm-hmm. right? Where that, like, when we ran into some issues with some of those other guys in the NBA, it's like they all kind of need the ball, even though Book was fine coming off screens, and so was Kev. But at the end of the day, they want the ball. Yeah. Richie's so good at making quick decisions. Like, we're bringing him off a little bit more screens this year than we were last, but just playing out of closeouts. And this is why I think a lot of NBA teams are so enamored with Richie, because you can drop Richie. You could drop Richie into any playoff level NBA team right now, he could fit right in. Yeah. He's going to make open shots. He's going to run the floor. He's going to guard his man. He's not going to do anything stupid, right? So I think it allows both of them to breathe, but also play to their strengths at the same time.
Lastly, Coach, with all this talent, with everybody talking about BYU and a loaded Big 12, lofty expectations, how does that make you feel?
I think I go to the guys, right? So I think it's a testament to the group we had last year and the guys that are on our team now that were there last year. They have some respect, and then you look at the guys that we brought in, and there's a respect level that comes with that. For me, I could care less about the expectation or where they pick us or whatever. I want our guys to get better every single day. I know it sounds super corny and coachy, but like that's what we did last year, and it wasn't. We started out 2-4 in the Big 12, right? We had to work for what we got, and that's the same thing with this group, right? And I addressed that literally the day before our first practice. I addressed this head on. Block it all out. Show up to tomorrow, lock in on what we got to get better at, and do it the next day and the next day and the next day, and that's how we operate.
One of my favorite phrases, don't talk about it, be about it. Absolutely. You're talking about it, you've been about it. Coach Young, great catching up. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.